We are coming up on a time of the year when people are very Feast of Trumpets happy. And that is basically a hopefulness that has just been extended to the wrong date. I completely 100% understand the nature of trying to figure out when Jesus is coming back. I simply have arrived at a different date and for a different event. My specific event is the start of the 70th week, not the rapture, because that is what the Old Testament prophets lead us to. My question to the larger audience, and this is typically going to be posed to people who would disagree that there is any kind of knowable information related to a calendar in the Bible. They probably are looking in the New Testament, probably not the Old Testament. But my question would be, who specifically is it that is supposed to be unable to know this? And I say that because the Bible is a resource, a free resource to everyone. In the 70th week, they are confined by a 2,520 day count, which counts from point A to point B and tells them precisely, even down to the time of day that Jesus is returning, when he's returning. So if they can know within the confines of the 70th week when he is returning, why is it that we wouldn't be able to know that having the exact same information available to us before the 70th week starts? So my question is this, and I'm not being rude and I'm not being anything other than inquisitive here. Who specifically is it that is not supposed to be able to know these things when the ones in the 70th week will clearly be able to know them because there's a vile judgment related to gathering them to do battle with Christ as a designated time and place and day? So who specifically is it? I want to repeat myself. Who is it that is not supposed to be able to know these things? If they can know then, why would we not be able to know now? So if you believe that Jesus stated or anyone else stated that we are unable to know, I would implore you to reevaluate your thoughts as being related to something other than what you believe they are related to. Because there is nothing in the Old Testament or in the New Testament that prohibits anyone from knowing when things are going to occur on a prophetic stage on a calendar. The relationship to knowing is through visual or sensory perception. There is no reference point for events that have never occurred before. Thus, anyone with a created lifespan, that's man and angels, is not going to have an understanding of the events of the day that are dissimilar to anything that has ever happened in the whole of human history. God knows because he is omniscient, all-knowing, and he's got foreknowledge. That is what that means. It has nothing to do with pointing to a calendar day and saying, oh, can't know when, we just have to guess, or just play it by ear, or just fly by the seat of our pants. It has to do with knowledge being limited to, well, you're just going to have to be there to see it, to understand it, is basically what that means. And it relates to the passing away of the heavens and the earth, which occurs at the second coming when the Lord destroys them with fire. There is nothing in there about the rapture or even the start of the 70th week. It is a second coming event, and the likes of which have never occurred, so no one has any clue what that means. You can read about it, but visually speaking, we really just don't know until we see it with our own eyes. And we'll just have to see it on that day. And yeah, we will see it on that day because we're coming back with Jesus. And the day upon which we're coming back with Jesus is noted very specifically down to the time of day in the Old Testament. So again, I go back to my question is, who specifically is it that this knowledge is being hidden from? Because if they have it then, which they most assuredly will, that means, by virtue of the fact that we all share the same Bible, we have it now too. And if anyone believes differently, they're probably just misunderstanding something. So maybe understand it properly and stop telling other people that it's ludicrous for them to study things that you specifically believe are unknowable when the Bible doesn't actually say that or support it in any way. That is all.